Okay, so now we're recording as well. Alrighty then, so I wanted to take a few moments before our guests get here and go through some things that are happening in the community, some changes that we're making, some big pushes that we're making between now and the end of the year. We have some very exciting things happening, and I think that you will really like it. Of course, we're always a work in progress, so if there are things you can see that can be improved, you can reach out to me individually or through the Q&A here or wherever you feel is appropriate. So the first thing is Python. We are not going to have Python be like our second course anymore unless you choose for it to be. Your second class that you're taking. There are other things that we can take in order to become successful blockchain consultants, other Ethereum classes, just understanding how a smart contract is coded and works, understanding use cases and different projects that are happening within different industries. Another thing that we're doing is we have a list of the top 25 white papers. So if you're interested in learning how to write a white paper or read a white paper or analyze one, and just to give you a little bit of an idea, there are people that are making anywhere from $5,000, $10,000 up to $100,000 for writing white papers. So you can study how to write, like really become good with how to write or research for a white paper, etc. So we are going to be canceling Melissa, the Python tutor, unless you want to hire her one-on-one. She is $10 an hour, which is really, really good if you decide to continue with that. The next thing is in regards to Jarvis. Victor I came to me and said that they are going to begin the apprenticeship for wallet training for Jarvis. He's going to come for an intro call on Saturday, May 22nd at 10 a.m. I had a few people say that they are going to be out for Memorial Day. Yes, it will be recorded for you, but he's going to come and just kind of reintroduce us to what's happening with Jarvis. He is going to be training on how to do the beta testing for the wallets. So if you want to do a little bit of technical stuff, this could be a great apprenticeship for you, because one of the things we're going to be offering in our consulting company is beta testing of platforms. So if that's going to be your thing, then please jump on that call with Victor. And I probably won't be there, but I'll have somebody sit in for me because I have a client meeting. The third and fourth thing we're going to talk about is the consulting company and our Black Wealth and Blockchain event that we are going to be the title sponsors of, and Biggie, which is our investment group, is going to be sponsoring this as well. So we're very excited about both of these things. Let's see here. I asked my computer to go to the next slide. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so for the consulting company, and if you have questions, just feel free to throw them in the Q&A for me. For the consulting company, we came up with a name. I don't know if you can move this over here. And we're going to be called Blockchain Consortium International. So we really like that name. There are a group of us, I think about 12 of us, that are on the strategic planning committee for the consulting company. So we all really like that name. The website is going to be reachbci.com. So that's going to be the one central place for you to send people, whether they're looking for training within the school or whether they're looking for consultants to help with, whatever projects they have. We will keep Black blockchain consultants as well, but maybe separate, maybe a separate website, continuing to be a separate website. I'm not sure yet, but definitely for the consulting in the school is going to go through that reachbci.com website. The business model. We have chosen to do something very similar to a PwC or Deloitte model. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a marketing and proposal department. And Talisha, I see you being one of the shining stars. These are people that like to go out, network, meet people, bring back business into the community. Or people who like to write proposals in order to win business. Then we're going to have another group of people that prefer to do the projects. So our project managers and our project teams. And we're also going to have a group that's going to work with training and quality control, because that's very, very important to me. Whatever we're putting out has to be excellent work. We do not give work to clients unless it's excellent work. So there will be a certain amount of mandatory training that goes into being a consultant with us and continuing to be a consultant with us. And then the final piece of it is going to be our operations, which is like accounting and things like that. So if that's your gift and you want to work in the operations side, you will be more than welcome to do that. We are also hiring a full-time marketing manager in order to help us coordinate our marketing efforts for both consulting gigs as well as new members within the BBC. We are going to be raising money, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we have our meeting, our long meeting in regards to this, and that's going to be on Monday, June 11th at 8 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in participating or just curious, or you may want to be an investor or everything, if you're curious and you want to learn a lot more, I'm going to go into compensation plans and all of that stuff that we're working on now within the strategic planning group. Talisha, do you have questions about this? I don't see any questions from our people here.
Not at this point. I do think I'll probably have some with regard to when we have the full meeting, because I'll probably ask you the same thing, so I'll wait until then.
Okay, all right. So let's see here. So our consulting company goals. My internal mission is just that everybody eats. And what I mean by that is if you come in, if you do your studying based on, some things that we're suggesting, that we will have more than enough opportunity within this consulting company for you to choose whether you want a part-time income or a full-time income within this. And some of you may want to start part-time and then eventually you may want to move to full-time. Well, of course, you have to feel secure that we're going to have so much business coming in that the well isn't going to run dry. So one of the things that I want to do with the marketing and proposal team is make sure that we can achieve that. So we got to be known in the marketplace. We are going to have an aggressive marketing group going out there networking to the point where last week there was what Chris went to, the Consensus or Blockchain New York event. We've got to have representation there. And we have a budget line item for those types of large conferences where we can send a couple of reps there to New York to actually network, meet the right people, bring that business back home. And these types of conferences helps us recruit talented professionals as well to join the BBC and be a part of the inner circle. So imagine if we have 1,000 consultants that are all out there in their individual cities talking to people and then coming back to the group and saying, hey, I got this, this opportunity. What do you think about it? Well, then, we would have more than enough opportunities to make money, whether again it's part-time income or full-time income. So next is in regards to our conference. So I'm doing a bit of a leap of faith here, but I'm really excited about this. So in November 2nd and 3rd, we are going to have a Black Wealth, Blockchain, and Crypto Conference. It's going to be at the Lord Baltimore Hotel in Baltimore, Maryland. And we're going to be sponsors as well as our investment group. You see the picture here. I went to the hotel, this is what it really looks like. It's gorgeous. And we got a very good deal on it. So I have been telling people, and I'll share a little bit about what's going to happen in terms of the agenda. Everybody that I've spoken with is on board. So you may say, first thing you may say is, why Baltimore? Well, originally I thought, if you live in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Richmond, DC, it's a great central place. But the truth is we have people that are coming from Texas, North Carolina, Florida, other places. So this is going to be the place to meet all of your virtual friends that you have networked with, whether it's with Akoinda or the Digital Underground, etc. So with this, we're going to have, on Friday, it's more of a blockchain intensive session that we're going to have. And what we want to do is set up the lessons on that day to make you a six-figure consultant. So if you think about, I've got to be as good and know as much as anybody that I'm meeting with at Blockchain New York conferences or other types of conferences that I'm going to. So if they say, wow, you really know your stuff, I want to talk to you and your group. Friday is all about that. It is going to be appropriate for our marketing and sales department. It's going to be appropriate for our proposal writers, our project managers, and our consulting teams. There are going to be 70 seats available with this, and I am going to be looking for a team to work with me on the training for this. But the idea is for you to walk into your boss's office on Monday and your boss to go like, wow, I didn't know we could do all of that. Let's talk a lot more about what's possible within the blockchain, within your full-time jobs or whatever it is you do, your businesses or whatever. On Saturday is going to be for our blockchain curious people, or for us as well. I have a good program that I'm still working on pulling together, but the first session is going to be our Black Wealth, Crypto, and Blockchain 101 program, where we're going to be discussing, the basics of blockchain and how blockchain can help the Black community gain more wealth, more equality, all of that stuff. Then the second session is going to be about making money as a blockchain consultant. And we're going to feature some of our own blockchain consultants. I'm also asking a couple of people who are outside of our BBC community that you've never met before, but that are six-figure blockchain consultants to come as well. I've identified them. I'm already talking to them. And one of them, I know he's going to be in town that week. So I'm just trying, or that day, sorry, that Saturday, I'm just trying to get him to agree to come up. So you're going to meet people that are outside of the BBC community, that are Black, that are actually doing this and actually successful. Session 3 is going to be about investing in the blockchain. That is going to be the session that Biggie will run, but it'll be about ICO investing, equity investing within blockchain companies, because I feel like we need to be getting equity in these companies and not just coins. And other things. So Kayron Long White and Biggie are going to be leading that session about investing in the blockchain and investing in blockchain companies. Our next session I'm really excited about. We're going to have 10 roundtables, and we're going to do use case roundtables. So around healthcare, fintech, HR, entertainment, government. We're going to have a leader from the Black Blockchain Consultants. So one of you is going to sit down with a group of people that is interested in that same industry, and you're going to talk about the applications that are occurring within your industry. So when I say, when you leave this 2-day event, you're going to leave with like tangible information. You can walk into your boss's office on Monday and blow him away. That's what I'm headed for. And then the final thing we're going to have is a networking reception where you'll be able to continue to, have some wine or beer or whatever and continue talking with your newfound friends. Saturday's event is $99, and that includes lunch. If you buy Saturday's event for $99, you get Friday free. I will say that again. Saturday's event, $99, you get Friday for free. I'll also send more information out about the room rates. I think they're $129 per night for Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night if you need to fly out on Sunday. The parking's going to be $10 a day. Like the hotel really worked with us to make this affordable. And we worked really, really hard to make this affordable. So Talisha, do you have questions about this? I don't see any questions in the Q&A here.
No, so again, what times are these starting, the actual sessions?
The sessions, so Friday's going to start at 10 a.m. Sorry, Friday's going to start at 9 a.m. I'm sorry. Friday's going to start at 9 a.m. and probably be a 9 to 5. Okay. And Saturday's starting at 10 a.m. and going to be a 10 to 6. 10 to 6.
And when is the networking reception?
The networking reception is from 5 to 6:30.
Okay, so that's important.
Yeah.
So with the use case roundtables, how are we selecting the individuals that will be moderating those panels?
I'm going to start by taking volunteers, which is one of the things I was going to ask for now, are volunteers. And then from there, I'm going to be working very closely with any and everybody that's leading a roundtable or that November 2nd training, because it's got to be the best that we have to offer. So, so yes, I'll be working closely, and I'm going to definitely be asking Dr. Keisha, and I don't know if she's on tonight, but Dr. Keisha to work with me on that, just to make sure that we have not only the information, but the proper way to articulate and teach that information to people. So,
will the information be disseminated even if you're not at that particular roundtable? Will that be able to be, like
somebody asked me about that. So for the roundtables, it's going to be kind of tough. I will tell you, for the Saturday event, we are hiring Dwayne Conliffe, who is a BBC member as well as a DU member, and he has a photography and video business. He's going to be live streaming it. So it's going to be 3 cameras, multi-angle, like we are doing this up. The idea is for us to have 10,000 people watching this live stream, plus the people in the audience. The use case roundtables, we may have to do something different in terms of, we may have to write white papers or something like that. And it might be a good idea for us to do that, right? Like white papers or something with the information that we're disseminating at the use case roundtable.
Like a summation for each.
Like a summation. And that way we can hand it out to industry people as well and say, look at our thought leadership, look at what we've done.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and get them to want to hire BCI and, our group. So those are great questions. I'm sorry?
But that would be also good collateral for the site.
Yes.
That information just being populated, and they could actually go out there and search for it based upon topic and industry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if other people have other suggestions and things like that, I'm totally open to it. So my goal with this event is for us to have an additional 300 to 500 BBC members within our group. So right now we have about 124. We definitely want to grow. So that's why we're investing in this. So we're going to have 350 seats on Saturday. Again, the price is $99. You get Friday free. And I've told you our goals are, 300 to 500 new BBC members and 10,000 people watching live stream or within the first 48 hours. Like, we really want people sharing it, all of that. So we're working to create a very good production value.
There are 2 questions that came in right now. So we have.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to go into the questions I promised everybody. So here's what I'm asking. So first of all, we're going to have more information about this conference, because there is a little bit more I want to share, on Tuesday, May 29th, during our main BBC meeting. So you know Monday is Memorial Day, so we're going to have this on Tuesday. I'm asking you to do a few things. Number one is mark your calendar now. Number two is ask time off from your job now. If you are truly, if you're interested in coming, and I hope everyone is. The next thing is to buy one ticket for you and one ticket for a friend or a family member. We definitely want to have the place packed. So I, for example, am going to buy a couple of tickets for people that I know that are blockchain curious for that Saturday. And because I live in the DC area, it makes it a little bit easier for them to just come up for that Saturday. But I'm asking, everybody to do the same. If you would buy a ticket for yourself and a ticket for your family member or friend. And even if they're here in Baltimore on Friday, we're going to be really close to the Inner Harbor. So if you have a family member that is only coming on Saturday, they can still hang out on Friday, go to the Inner Harbor, see the aquarium, things like that. And then also, we are looking to connect with other Black wealth groups and other Black blockchain groups, either online or offline. So if you know of any, please email me their information so that we can connect with them and see if we can grow our audience. I'm also looking for a few more things. I'm looking for a volunteer coordinator for that day. I'm looking for 8 volunteers for just setup and ushering people from one room to the next. I'm looking for a training team for November 2nd. I'm looking for 10 roundtable leaders. I'm looking for Julie from the Love Boat. And if you don't know what that means, she was the social coordinator on the cruise ship. I would love for us to have something like coordinated, if it's just meeting at a specific restaurant on Thursday and on Friday evening. So Thursday evening, Friday evening, just to say, hey guys, we're all meeting at this specific location. On Friday evening, we probably will have quite a few people there, so we may have to reserve a space at some restaurant or something like that. And then I thought it'd be great if somebody wants to design a t-shirt. You can keep all the profits. I don't need any of that. The group can vote on what shirt they like, etc. But if you want to create a shirt for the event, feel free. So I know I went through that a lot, that pretty quickly, but I promise we'll take it much slower next week. So Lisa's asking, can the sessions be streamed? We answered that. They will be. When are we able to register? Great question. Probably early part of July. So I will let you know. We'll give you plenty of time. How can we buy tickets? So it's going to be probably early part of July. I know the system that we're using. It's a system called Ticket Leap, and they've been around. They're very similar to Eventbrite. So where and when can we pay to secure our spot? Tawana, don't worry, your spot is secure. Your spot is secure, my love. So, so beginning of July probably will be the time when the tickets go on sale. And how much is registration? It's $99 for Saturday, and if you pay for Saturday, you get Friday free. So $99 for Saturday, you pay for Saturday, and you get Friday for free. Would it be possible to have access to the live stream a little longer than 48 hours? Oh, so the live stream is going to be available on our social media forever, because that's going to be our way of marketing to the outside world. So it's just me saying that within the first 48 hours, I would love to have 10,000 views on it, but it'll be out there forever. Dwayne will have his pictures, and we're going to post those on social media, the professional photos, and those will be online forever too. So we want a real impact. And it's 8:30 now, so let me see if Chris and Marcus are here. Yeah, I don't see them yet. Okay. So other questions. I don't see our panelists yet here. So uh, other questions that you have. Let's see. Chris, not you, Chris, our other Chris. That is our other Chris, Chris Henry. Let's see here. Tatiana has her hand up. Hi, Tatiana. Oh, you put it down. Okay, sorry. Thought you had your hand up.
If we could have specifically some of that information with regard to the actual conference so that we could actually disseminate that. Like I said, I have about 3 to 4 other websites that I would like to, in groups that I would like to put that on.
Yeah.
And also have some content that I could craft around it.
Yeah, we'll work on creating all of that so that it's just a copy paste for people, or we'll have, I use Canva, so we'll also create some nice graphics that you can, that you can create. And I also like to just, have a couple of lines that people can say, here's the reason why you should come to this conference, why it's different. So, yeah.
So we have probably, of course, the larger ones with regard to, we're going to Tech Fam. It's a big one in this area with regard. I'll be going also to the Blockchain Bash, so that might be something that would be really nice to
we're both
kind of good. As a teaser that's coming up, so they know a lot when we have that kind of going through. That might be very helpful.
Right. And if we're able to, so Tawana, from your lips to God's ear, she's saying 350 spots will go quick. I stepped out on faith, and I gave them my credit card and everything yesterday. So I'm like, please God. But I do see this as much more than just a conference. It really is a chance for us to be kind of like a debutante in the world, where
the
launch party, exactly. So we're 5 months away. So where we're doing little things, we may get a paid engagement or 2, and then this is our time to say, look, 2019 is our year to do some big things. Beverly is asking, where do we go to submit the t-shirt designs? In Flock, if you would just send them to me, like a link or something like that. I'm going to have the group vote on it, though. I don't want to be the only one voting on the t-shirt design. And it was just some wacky idea I had at 2:00 in the morning. So I'm hoping that that a couple of people will think that that's a cool idea.
Now, do you want the volunteers to wear them as well, or just that would be something that would be sold there, the t-shirts?
I hadn't thought of that. I do think it would be good for volunteers to, be dressed alike, just so people will know that they are volunteers, and if they're lost in the hotel or whatever, they would kind of have somebody that can show them which way to go.
That may be something, a t-shirt specifically for the sponsors and volunteers, as well as just swag from the conference.
Yeah, so we can kind of play with all of that. So let's see here if
everybody loves t-shirts. I agree, Ms. Virginia.
Yeah, I just thought
I went to the conference. I bought 2 t-shirts just because.
So
and then everybody asked me, so where'd you go? Oh, what is Hue? What the women in tech? What is that? So every time I wear it, it's always a conversation piece.
It is. And I just thought it'd be cool. So I don't see Chris yet or Marcus. They said they would be here for
I believe she said they were $129. That's what you said the hotel rooms were per night?
I believe so. I will definitely have the contract with me. I don't have it with me right now. I will have it with me on June 11th when I give the major presentation, or actually on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I'll talk a lot more about it, but I believe 129 is right. And one of the things that the hotel told me is that people can double up if you need to. So we have to, on Friday evening, part of my contract is for us to sell out at least 40 rooms. So I'm just putting that out there that we're going to need to sell 40 rooms, and so people who are coming to the Friday event hopefully will sleep over on Friday night so that you're right, up early on Saturday.
I'll actually come, see, even though I'm in Virginia. I'll come Thursday.
Yeah. So, and then our volunteers, oh, that's a good point. So our volunteers will need to be there on Thursday evening, so that we can do a dry run, and so that people on Friday will know where they're going. But I promise you, if you are a volunteer, you will still get to hear the majority of the conference, because, we have it set up in such a way that you'll be able to hear the majority of it. So, let's see here. Tessa's asking the price per night of rooms. I think it's $129. Don't hold me to it, but I think it's $129. They gave us a really good deal. I don't know if I have Chris's number. Talisha, do you have Chris's number?
No, I actually
want to see where he is. Or let me see if he's... Because he was, so I will let everyone know, Chris was like very excited about talking to us tonight. Because we had planned for him to come next month, and he said, no, got to do it tonight. So,
well, this is a great segue.
Oh,
I had went
this could be him. I'm going to put you on mute for a second.
Okay. She's on mute. Okay. So I went to the Hugh Tech Summit that was in Philadelphia during Philly Tech Week, and I met the individual who is the he is the director of registration, and hello, that's quite all right. The conference is going to be November 2nd and 3rd, and it's going to be in Baltimore. But I met this gentleman who, when we were talking about blockchain certification and whatnot, I had mentioned that I was a part of the BBC, and he was really interested, and then we began some conversation, and he hooked me with other people that he knew that were also in this space. So at this point, we have I guess now about 6 of us that are now just joining from a networking perspective, and this is where Chris and Marcos have come along, because those are the individuals that he actually introduced me to. So we just invited them to come and talk to the group. They have some great ideas, some great information that they want to share. So it was just, again, a very nice networking that turned into this, and this is what we plan on doing, just getting our name out there, and they're definitely interested in working with us. Specifically, Chris has some amazing opportunities that he thinks that we would be very viable for. So you back, ma'am? I can't hear you if you are. No. She's shaking her head. Okay. So are there any other questions? Let me see here. Yes, that is a great price, especially, and she said that parking, if we park there, it's about $10 as well. So that's really amenable per night that we have available.
I'm back. He called me. I didn't send him the Zoom link, so I thought I had. So just give him a few minutes, please. You can finish. I heard you answering questions. So
yeah, that was it.
Job.
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to give them who is these people coming and why are they coming to talk to us? So
yeah. No, you're going to be impressed. You really are. So Talisha made a very good contact for us. So somebody's saying, join late, where's the conference? So Ronald, the conference is going to be in Baltimore, and it's going to be at the Lord Baltimore Hotel November 2nd and 3rd of this year. So November 2nd is going to be our blockchain intensive day for people who want to really become great at blockchain consulting or being in our marketing and sales department, etc. If you're serious about being in our consulting company, I'm going to highly suggest you be there. And then November 3rd is more so for our general session, blockchain curious people, things like that. So we're going to have a much more in-depth discussion about this next Tuesday at 8 p.m. So
we have one question from Jamie with regard to the changes to the BBC since Python is no longer a requirement. I wanted to readdress that.
Sure. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that Chris got the invitation too. So yes, because there is no more Python, you have a few things that you can do right now. And of course, we will work on creating another, another like curriculum, like strategy curriculum. But right now, we have a couple of, or several people that are reading the top 20 white papers as a collective. And they're focused on how you can become a better white paper analyst and a better white paper writer. So that is a study group that we have going on. I also am leading a group of people. I got a call from a guy from a Fortune 500 company who said, Cherie, my boss knows me as the blockchain person. I need a 2-page use case executive summary for him in regards to the supply chain and blockchain and how that works. And got Chris here. So, you could join in on that if you want to focus on creating white papers and things like that. And let me unmute you. Hey, Chris. Oh, we still can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. While Chris is doing that, Ron is asking why no more Python. So you are more than welcome to continue with Python if you wish. But a lot of people, the majority of people within the BBC just felt like it was too much. We've also discovered through Chris and Marcos that there are other opportunities that don't require us knowing Python in order for us to be blockchain consultants. So Chris, can you? No, I'm still not able. No, we still can't hear you. I don't know. Maybe you want to try to come back in? Yeah, sometimes the headphones mess up as well. Yeah, the Tawana, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe he needs to take the headphones. Sometimes the headphones messes up. Okay. I promise you it'll be worth the wait when he gets here. He's really, really good. Okay. Any other, maybe taking off your headphones, Chris? Maybe that would work? No, she's saying no. Okay. Right. So please, yeah, looks like he's moving on the move here. So please let me know if you have any more questions in regards to the consulting company, BCI. Tawana did a really great job of creating a menu of services. So going back to what would we study outside of Python, if you go to that menu of services and you decide there's something that really speaks to you, you are able to do a deep dive and figure out how to be the best consultant you can be within that area.
And where can you find that menu of services?
Tawana, did you post it to the main? She's in the chat. She says, I'll post the draft to Flock. Yeah, she just sent it to a few of us. So she'll post the draft to the main part of Flock. So for those of you who are part of Biggie, don't forget that Thursday, the meeting is canceled. What is happening is Mr. Severson, who is the SEC consultant, is going to have the information back to Kayron in about 2.5 weeks. And at that point, she's going to schedule a meeting to give everybody the SEC results so that we can get up and running with the investment club. So if you are waiting on that, that is coming. Tawana's saying that they still need a head for the Negus education work stream. So if you're willing to do that, please let Tawana know. Audrey, you have a great suggestion about the dial-in audio. Let me see if I can find it. I was able to find it, so I'm not sure. You may be trying to reboot or do something else. Let's see.
Is the white paper group going on right now?
Yeah, we just posted that. I think Tessa was the one that posted that a couple of days ago. So I don't know if we have a specific group yet, but if we don't, I would even like to be a part of that group. So if somebody can let me know. So Chris is saying, I can see you. Okay, Chris, I just emailed you the phone number, the dial-in phone number. So if you can check your email again, maybe you can dial in, please.
I'll have to go back and look at that. Definitely would be interested in that group.
Okay. Let's see if we can get you here. I've unmuted. Can we get you?
Am I here?
Yes.
Hey! All righty then. Technology, cray. Okay. Well,
I could see all of you. I could hear your conversations, but I just could not talk.
That's okay. That's okay. Good things come to those who wait. So we want to thank you so much for taking your time out this evening to be here with us. We have prepped the group, but if you could tell them a little bit about your background and yourself, and I'll just let you have the floor. Anything that you want to tell us, we'd love to hear.
Sure. My career, I spent pretty much all my career after college in Wall Street. I worked for UBS. I worked for a couple of consulting companies, and the last 12 years of my career, I worked for Citigroup. Then I left Citigroup and started doing consulting in cybersecurity. So pretty much my whole career is in Wall Street. My office is at 111 Wall Street, which is right across from AIG before the crash, and around the corner from Goldman Sachs' old office before they moved over on the west side. So I entered the blockchain space about a year ago after looking at cybersecurity. I met a gentleman who said, well, isn't blockchain the same thing as cybersecurity? And of course, my question was, what is a blockchain? He goes, well, blockchain's encrypted. It's better off. It's the extension of cybersecurity. And that's how I learned about blockchain. And so I dived in at the time, deep in it, and I heard all the stories. And when I came out of it and started looking back in, I realized this wave that's coming known as blockchain. So I interviewed for a few positions, and I became the CEO of BlockSafe, which is a cybersecurity technology within the blockchain space. And while I was going through that around December, I said, I'm in this space. I look around and there are no diversity. I said, that's strange. I see all these folks, no diversity. So I decided to step down as CEO and become a ICO consultant for two other ICOs. One is called Mentum, which is a cold wallet, a warm storage. And of course, we'll get into what that means. And then another one called KidCoin, which is an ecosystem that's going to provide financial services and scholarships for teenagers between the age of 13 to 18. However, they're looking to start earlier based on regulations. And so stepping back from, because what happens, the companies are registered with the SEC. So obviously, if I'm CEO, there's some things I couldn't do. So I had to step down and not do those things in order to provide consulting across different areas. So I've come across a lot of people, a lot of areas. And so in December, I started becoming not only just a consultant, but an evangelist. So I went to all the affinity groups, and I call them affinity groups, all the Black groups. And I told them, guys, you got to get into blockchain. Of course, no one believed me. In fact, to this day, some don't believe me. But I tried. I've been on speaking panels for blockchain. I was this Blockchain Week in New York. I was on several speaking panels. That was a challenge. But then I met a great gentleman by Marcus. And I said, Marcus, here's my story. Can you help me get the word out in our community that there is a huge transformation in technology industry that's coming? Can you get the word out? In fact, also, as a side note, I was on HBO Vice with another friend of mine named Mitchell. He has what's called a crypto security group in Harlem. So I was on Vice, HBO Vice, talking about crypto. I mean, I was everywhere just trying to, the drumbeat. African Americans, you got to get into this. You got to get into this. You can't not. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And so Marcus was very good. And then, of course, Marcus connected me to your group. So this is where I am now. And, of course, all through this, for the last several months, I've been interviewed by different magazines, panels. But when I look around, I didn't find anyone. But fortunately enough, being the CEO, they have a lot of CEO forums in blockchain. So I get to meet all the other CEOs. And lo and behold, I found so many African-American CEOs. I told Marcus, in fact, I sent Marcus a whole list. There's like 63 that I found. Some of whom you may know, Pareto Networks, Go Networks, Storage J. How many people know that Storage J in New York, which is sort of like the counterpart to Dropbox, is an American CEO, met a lot of women in the area. So it was the one area that I said to Marcus, if everybody's fighting to get to the top of Google and Facebook, they can avoid all that. There's plenty of CEOs here in the blockchain area, I mean, all across the country. Crypto Fury, which is a payment system company. They do Visa, MasterCard internationally to blockchain payment. John is an African-American, lives in San Francisco. So all these guys around me were sitting in these CEO meetings, and I'm like, wait a minute, is there a secret somewhere? And so that's what brought me to the space. So here we are now, a week after the Blockchain Week. Now, we all knew about Blockchain Week several months ago. The CEO for that host of the blockchain is Joseph Lubin, who runs Consensus, and you'll hear all about Consensus. He's like the leader in the space, and so we all knew about Consensus in New York City and everything else. So where we are with your group, Sherry, and I'm glad I would get a chance to meet you guys, is we need to put together a consortium of folks. And again, this was my dream back in November. I wanted us to take full advantage of the blockchain environment, and we can tackle it from any area, consulting to management to software development, or we can go on the other side of it, which is trading and crypto trading, exchanges, you name it. So there's two sides to this coin, and it's huge. I mean, the industry itself is very big. It's hard when someone says, well, what is a blockchain? We have to ask the question, which angle do you want? Do you want the trading side? Do you want the the management side? Do you want the software side? Do you want the legal side? Do you want the supply chain side? What do you want? So that's the goal. So for the goal for everyone is we want to get enough people to understand and embrace the blockchain training. If your group set up training, and then we can split off into different groups. We could focus on the structure, which is white papers and ICO, or focus on management. Last night I was a meeting of let's go cryptocurrency traders. There was a gentleman there from Microsoft. Microsoft is heavily into blockchain. You may not see it in the report, but the guy was there like, we have our own private blockchain. Any enterprise that want to use it, we'd be happy to help them. We're not putting out any major press release, but we have a massive blockchain operation within Microsoft. And every week at Microsoft Center in New York City, you just sign up, you come in, they'll do some test drives and running. Orablock from Oracle, same thing. Adam Goldstein is the CEO for that division of Oracle. Adam's a great guy too. He runs an operation for Orablock. Who else? So again, I was fortunate to meet all these CEOs and all these people from all over the world. Qtum, which is a blockchain company. Block Apps. By the way, Block Apps is a division of Microsoft. Victor runs that division. He's down in Brooklyn. He runs what's called decentralized application development that runs on top of the Azure platform. He and another one called Uport is another company that Microsoft owns. So Microsoft has like 16 or 17 companies that they work very close with on the blockchain side. So does Google. So Facebook wasn't a part of it in New York City. I haven't run into anyone from the Facebook side, but I think in the next couple of months I will. And now there's a new director in charge of that. So that's the background area of this whole blockchain. Where I come in from the blockchain side, I come from the investment side, and that's what I want to focus on. Developing companies that eventually go out to the exchanges. So all 3 companies that I'm on are slated to get out on the exchange by the end of the year. BlockSafe Tech, KidCoin, and Midtown. So I'm in what is called the ICO development phase. So in that environment, we need white paper writers, AI developers, JavaScript developers, Solidity developers, CTOs, and so forth. All my projects are fully staffed, so there's no need for anyone on my team, but there's new projects that are coming online that will need some folks. We're looking for folks to get involved. And every day now when I go to meetings, there's new people. I met a guy yesterday who just heard about it. He's an attorney. He wants to get into the space. He wants to understand the regulatory issues and, Reg D, Reg CF, Reg A, Reg A+. In fact, he emailed me a cease and desist order for a blockchain company down in South Carolina. Wanted me to take a look at the cease and desist order. By the way, my background is I have a little bit of litigation background, so I understand court papers.
I thought he was telling you to cease and desist, so I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, he was sharing with me a company got a cease and desist order. What should they do with it? So I was just looking at it. So which is fine. I also have a tax background as well. I'm certified to do taxes for New York State, the IRS. So I come at this from different angles. But primarily what I'm looking at is us professionals, and that's why I've targeted all the affinity professionals. We need to get into we need to embrace this. I've added you to my secret email list of stories that I get, or I pick up, or people send to me, so you can see what's happening. You've seen that all the executives from Goldman Sachs is now entering. People are quitting their job. I mean, literally leaving their what you call white shoe law firm to do crypto. And so I sent these to you, Sherry, so you understand that this is real. This is not make-believe. It is real. There are folks who are saying, you know what? I'm getting off of that corporate track. I'm joining blockchain companies. I'm no longer going to try to fight for partnership in that law firm. I'm just going to create my own law firm. A group of 4 people last month left and started a firm, a small firm called Crypto Lawyers. Another one started a company called Fin Lawyers. Scott runs that. I was talking to Scott 2 days ago. He left his law firm, Ropes and Gray, to do this. And Ropes and Gray is like your white shoe law firm on Wall Street. I mean, you work at Ropes and Gray, you're like creme de la creme. He walked away from that. He's now doing that. So, and the projects vary. So when someone say blockchain, think of it as the internet. That's all it is. It's a database. It's the internet. It's Internet 3.0. And you've heard that saying over and over again, but it really is Internet 3.0. Blockchain will be the engine that runs the next generation of companies. It will also be the engine that will run our government. The press release of last week of New York City will be putting together a strategy commission, which I've been trying to get on top of it to be a member of that. The city is asking all the blockchain companies to please provide us with supply management solutions. They're going to be putting together workshops. They're going to be putting together events, prizes, all the stuff. And today, the CEO for the Harlem Business Alliance actually sent me an email. Says, Chris, I'd like you to speak for us on July 25th. Try to set up something to bring that to the Harlem State Office building. And I got another one from another section of the city. Chris, can you come to this? Let's put this together. So my efforts from November to make us get involved has been great. Like I said, I'm thankful to Marcus, thankful to you guys to get on board. I wished everyone had started back in November when I wanted to do it, but never too late. Mm-hmm. But we're here. So where we are, so let me take 1 minute and talk about where we are in the blockchain environment. Okay, what's happened in the blockchain environment is we are past what's called the test phase. You'll hear things like test nets and all that. We are past that. We're now going into full production on the network at the open source style. So projects like Ethereum 2.0 will be coming out next year in November. Vitalik said he has it ready. EOS dropped Dream 3 a month ago. Neo is also getting in their use case. IOTA is ready. Monero just split and forked off into 3 different Ethereum blockchain. 0x is doing trading platform. They're going to split out the Ethereum. And again, I'm saying these not because I want to confuse you. I just want you to get used to these terminologies when you get into the room with these people. When they say, 0x is split off or forked or, they're doing transactions, you just know what they mean. So we are past that phase. So all ICOs are now going into full production, full use cases. So that's where we are. So now for your group, where would you start? The first phase to start is the education. Everyone needs to be educated on the blockchain. There are a bunch of videos online you could review. There are a few courses. Now, the live courses, they're very expensive. In New York, you pay like $399 for a full-day course on blockchain. By the way, one of those people who teaches that is Jamal. Jamal is a Harvard grad. He also, I think he did his master's at Columbia. I don't remember where it is, but he teaches a 1-day Python course and a 1-day Ethereum course. He and I haven't worked together, but we're looking to work together on doing what is called a decentralized exchange. We talked about it during Blockchain Week. There's another one, Peter Borovich. Peter Borovich is a PhD student in the blockchain space. He works with IBM, Hyperledger. He also does training for IBM. So there's a few folks in the training environment, but it doesn't hurt to have either web training and online training. The next level from the training is white paper review. Understanding what a white paper is. Every Wednesday, I have an open invitation to attend New York's crypto review of white page. It's held down on the Lower West Side with a group over there, Scott, Adam, and I'm invited there every week to come in to look at white papers. Then the next day after they do is what they hack the technology. So they read the white paper the Tuesday, then on Wednesday they take it apart and then provide feedback to the project. Now they're booked all the way out, I think, till August, because a lot of people send them requests. They do not charge for that service, but if the person needs what is called development of their white paper, then they go into a consulting fee. So I thought that was real ingenious to get a lot of white papers in front of you and have the opportunity to do, consulting from that. The programming piece, we do need programmers. We need a lot of programmers. I think, Sherry, I sent you an email about week ago that shows you what Ethereum programmers are billing at, $120,000 a year, $140,000 a year. Those are good opportunities. So skills like Python, HTML, Solidity, Mist, anything full stack. If you can do a full stack programming, those are needed for many projects, both in the supply chain as well as the Ethereum side. So full stack. Now the third phase is what I call company development, which is where I am, and I like being there, which is projects that needs to be fully developed, which is white paper, programmers, executive summaries, start going out to investors to get investors to invest in their ICOs. And that's where I sit. So I sit on that side of the house. So I get to see some of the projects. Some of the projects there's some music projects. I think I sent you an email about Mims, the rapper who created we talked last week, by the way. He called me, we talked. I'm going to be kicking the tires of his project a little bit more closely. We talked about what he wants to do. And so we exchanged a good conversation, and we're going to follow up next week or so to see where he goes. But there's areas like fashion. I had 3 cannabis projects that is going, art. So blockchain is all over. The question is, what do you want to focus on? Every area. So those, I think, are the areas for your group, is building the different group with their skills. And just so that you know your competition, there's a company called Byte Academy. Byte Academy is run by a DE. What they do is they take in programmers, and every 6 months they spit out close to 25 to 30 programmers. What they do is you come in for free, they screen you obviously, but when you get out, you pay a portion of your salary back to them. So they teach you for free, they teach you everything, and then you come on. Great program, a lot of companies use it, Microsoft use them, Google use them. In fact, they have their own product they've developed called EdChain, Education Chain. They have 3 more projects that they're working on, but all they do is put out programmers. I've been to several of their meetings. Every 6 months, they put out a crop of programmers. And I will tell you honestly, they're mostly Indians and Asians in that team. So,
okay.
The organizers are run by Indians anyway. So that's another opportunity to generate that. And then the rest of it is for professionals like myself, lawyers, accountants, CPAs. Those are needed as well. Those could be another subset group that is available for consulting. So these are the different areas that folks are doing. And what I have noticed is that many of the top law firms are no longer ignoring it. They're setting up like 1 or 2 people within their firm that just handles it. For instance, MacArthur English, which does blockchain, 4 gentlemen inside that office over on 8th Avenue who do all of their blockchain work. Joe Daniels is on that team. He actually leads that team only for within the firm itself. Other firms are doing it. They're setting up these subgroups because they're losing a lot of partners. So I see that to be the next wave. CPAs, firms are doing the same thing. Obviously, now that Price Waterhouse is heavily into blockchain, they're spitting out consultants as well. That's going to do mostly enterprise work. Enterprise work is where it is. So for your group, as if you were to put a task together for the next 60 days of what your group should be focused on, you should have a group looking at ICO structures, white paper review, and programming.
Okay. Well, we're on the right track then, because that's what we have been focused on over the past month. We have a couple of apprenticeships that are doing white paper review, white paper analysis, and we aren't doing programming, but we have some programmers, friends of ours, that we're hoping to coerce to be a part of our team. But we are looking at white papers, and we are also looking at use case consulting. So before you came on, I was telling everybody that I was approached by somebody that works for a Fortune 500 company who asked me to write a 2-page executive summary for his boss on blockchain 101 and what's happening with supply chain within the blockchain. So I'm doing that for him as a favor in exchange for, eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to do some business together. So
that's very good. Supply chain management is very good for the cities and the government. They're going to be looking at a lot of supply chain management solutions. So that's a good area to get into, which probably going to include grant writing, proposals, minority lending. I see a lot in that area.
And that's what I do in my full-time job. Is I'm a business plan writer, grant writer, proposal writer. So we have a group of people that are great writers as well. So we're really focused on that piece of it. We also have a couple of other services. I'll send you our list of services that one of our members put together in terms of the white paper and other things that we're able to do.
Okay.
So what would it take for you to, so first of all, I should say that the majority of our people are certified blockchain experts. That was the very first course that we took. So we have the basics of blockchain. But what would it take for you to feel comfortable in presenting us as a team to some of your contacts that could potentially hire some of us as a group?
Well, the first, I'm glad they're getting the basic training. Now, where most of them need help is in white paper review and blockchain programming. So what I can do is for those projects that are looking for people in those areas, I could set up a lot of Zoom meetings and conference calls, but also when they do what they call employment pitches, I could either introduce or just open, but in between, then there's little projects here and there that's looking for people, and I'll get emails that says, hey, I'm looking for a new CTO, I'm looking for new staffers, some people looking for advisories for their blockchain in teams. So that's also happening, a lot of advisory groups. But they, so I will keep an eye out for a lot of those areas and new startups that may be looking for a team of people. But what would be helpful also, if you should look at it, is also developing your own projects and then attract people to come to them. That would be good. And if you can develop a supply side project, that will be very attractive because then other people come and collaborate or join forces. So that's also good, And then to be well known, your folks also needs to get out. You need to get out in this environment. You have to be seen. You have to know the folks. You got to reach out and touch them. That's another thing folks need to do. It's not like corporate. Even though there's corporate people in there, it's not like corporate. And what I like about the blockchain, there are a lot of smart people. I mean, I hate to put it this way. The reason why I went to the professionals like you and Marcos is the people I meet are PhD dropouts. These are not your, I'm going to start a business. These are guys who got frustrated working for Microsoft and Google and all the tech companies and decided to go blockchain. And many of them are programmers who was working in these environments, who decided, like Peter Borovich. Peter Borovich is a PhD candidate from IBM. Left them, went to start a company called Blockchain Driven, and then IBM turned around and hired him back again to run their project. And Peter, he has a book on Amazon. I mean, Peter is a pretty high-powered programmer. But when he was working at IBM, they ignored him and he left, created Blockchain Driven. And within 2 years, they hired him back as a reseller. So these are the guys. So this is what's happening. Adam Goldstein, another PhD candidate, same thing. He went out, went and did stuff. All of a sudden, Oracle hired him back. But this time they hired him back as Aurora Block. Him and 17 other people running their blockchain. So there's a lot of really heavy technology guys in this space, but it's also being joined by a lot of attorneys, a lot of CPA accountants to do the books. I predict this in the next 6 months. In addition to white papers, many people are going to be asked to do what is called a CPA review of their expense management. I see it coming. Right now, there isn't any, but I see it slowly, and I think probably Price Waterhouse is going to be the number one in that to provide what is called breakdown of the expenses. So in addition to your executive summary, your white paper, and your use case, I could see that coming in. I see that as another area of skill that's going to be needed. Right now, people just put together, okay, we spent 10% on marketing, we spent 15% on staff, we spent 40% on this, and they stop there. But I think they're going to be asked to do more. So that's where your group needs to focus on. But then getting out into the area. For instance, there is a blockchain coming down to Washington, D.C. Sherry, I think you asked if I should come down there for that. So there's going to be a heavily federal focus in D.C. as well. Again, mostly focused on supply chain management. It's going to be big. So that's it. So for the next 6 months, your team needs to dive right in, learn the different areas, go to different groups, meet the different people, whether it's meetups, whether it's some are paid, some are free, and just become well known in the industry. And that will lead to other projects, because some people will break off a project from an existing project and start a new project. T0 is a main project, but 0x is a division of T0. So, Sheldon runs that team now. So it's happening. And Sheldon came from Goldman Sachs. So, you can have a lot of those people. But yeah, there's a lot of professionals literally jumping ship, getting off the corporate track because they can become CEO in like 3 months.
Right.
Raising $25 million. My 3 projects are minimum $2 million cap, $25 million on the pre-seed. That's what people are looking at.
A lot of people are putting big money into this, and I knew crypto wasn't going away when JP Morgan, Chase, and all of those guys started getting into it. I said, okay, well, if the big institutional money is getting in, then we're really about to see the ride here. So
well, it's not even so much getting in. I gave a speech at JP Morgan in February to the staff, 75 people in the room on blockchain. I gave that presentation, so I already know. They invited me in.
So you're the pioneer here. So Talisha, do you have a question for Chris?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any questions at this point, but thank you for pointing.
Right. Okay. So the message is, professionals, if you meet your friends and stuff, embrace this industry, learn it, come to your course, your basic course, so they'll have a basic knowledge. They can focus on either the hardware side, what I call the network side, or the dApps, which is a decentralized applications, or consulting, but definitely come at it from different angles, because it's going to be needed.
Perfect.
So that's the start.
For our consulting company, so this is for all of our participants, we have a budget line item for networking, which includes conference registration and travel. So when we set that up over the next 6 weeks or so, we will have that. So I'm sure Chris will be sending me some things that are happening not only in New York, but other places around the country, and we will post that. And if networking is your thing, then you let us know so we can have representation. Because
and also in your networking, also coordinate. I will try to get the names of the organizers for other locations like Dubai, London, San Francisco, New York, Atlanta. I'll also try to get Joe. Joe won't let me send out his email from Consensus. He won't let me give it to anyone, but I'll find a PR team that manages his schedule.
Okay.
In fact, I think Joe is coming down to DC.
Okay.
I think I saw something from him. Yeah. So definitely join the meetups, or create your own meetups if you have to. But invite others to come in and check it out and go from there.
Perfect. I don't see any questions from any of our participants. If you have a question for Chris, he's in and out of the incubators. He knows what's happening. So Ronald is asking, Chris, what are the opportunities for cybersecurity professionals in the blockchain space?
Okay. Cybersecurities are needed. However, they have to come in with a really different focus. The blockchain is already encrypted. So cybersecurity is built into the blockchain. Where they can come in is what I call access to the blockchain. I sent an email out today that Bank of America just got a patent to allow for access to a private network by setting up like a cloud environment and then secure goes in network. So cybersecurity and blockchain are synonymous, but approach it from the blockchain is secure. So do not walk into the room and ask that is the blockchain secure? It's automatically secure. What you're asking is the nodes, such as whether it's the PC, whether it's the wallets, whether it's the areas. So there are 3 companies who are doing stuff for cybersecurity, which is protecting access to the node, access to the blockchain. So that's where cybersecurity professionals can come in, which is understanding particular access that's doing that. So that's where cybersecurity comes in. But by definition, guys, blockchain is secure. Okay, it's a cryptography. From your basic course, make sure you drive that home. No one walk into one of our rooms and go, is the blockchain not secure? It is. The hash table is, as you know, immutable. So Here's a question for the folks. Should you be attending incubator events? The answer is yes. Go to every incubator that there is that's doing fintech. Learn. Many of the fintech space are now looking at blockchain. I go to at least 1 or 2 incubators every week to see what some of the projects are. That's a good way to learn what some of the new projects are. So definitely visit the incubators.
We have a ton of questions for you as well. So
no, keep going.
Yeah, so Audrey asked, as we educate ourselves in this space via videos on YouTube or blogs, do you have any suggestions on people or blogs or sites we should follow?
Yes, Sherry, I will give those to you.
Okay.
One of the ones that I like the most is called Women in Blockchain. There's about 6 of them here in New York, run by different folks. I'll forward those to you. By the way, I like the idea. I went to the first Women in Blockchain meeting back in October. It was run by a Korean. It was all Koreans. All Korean women.
So you were the piece of pepper.
Yes. So I audit that one. There's another one that's had only French women that were in that team. There's one coming up on Friday that is all women from which country? I forgot which country. So what happened is the Europeans and the Asians are already into blockchain because that's where it started. So don't be surprised if you have a group that is just all Asians or Russians or any of that. That's where it all started. It didn't start in the U.S. This is not a U.S. product.
Yeah, actually there was a Deloitte survey that showed the lack of U.S. companies that are even putting money into blockchain. So what I predict, this is just a personal prediction, is that in the next couple of years, they're going to be throwing a ton of money into blockchain in order to just catch up with the Chinese and the Europeans. So the questions that people have here, so this is from Tatiana, how do you see the blockchain being implemented in a humanitarian or social change effort? Okay,
in my presentation, maybe I'll do it for the group, I cover a section called nonprofits, where I show where UNCF, Red Cross, all implement this right now. I think I may have sent you, I'll look it up again, a press release on the United Nations, who also implement blockchain. So they already started on the supply chain side. Yeah, it's already implemented humanitarian. Voting, you saw the experiment that did in the West Virginia primary, how successful that voting block was.
Yep.
In the next 2 years, I think all the states will adopt blockchain voting.
I wouldn't be surprised. D'Antonio is asking, what do you think about federal workers becoming members of the Government Blockchain Association? Also, what roles do you see the government playing in the space? And I happen to be a GBA member, so.
Okay. What if they were to take New York City's lead? What New York City is saying is look at all of our supply chain operation and bring us solutions. And if we like them, we will fund either further development or we will hire the company. In November, Department of Homeland Security was offering a $20 million grant for anyone that had solutions, what is called supply side solutions. We have to remember that our government really does what is called movement of assets. For example, we move for our military, we move a lot of assets around the world, between countries, between areas. Also, a large procurement. The government is the #1 procurement division in the United States, from health and human services to state. So any solution that helps them reduce cost and increase business, they're open to it. So New York City is taking the lead by saying, bring us the project. If you can do end-to-end supply chain management, they're open to it.
Yeah. I went to a GBA meeting last month, the meetup here in the DC area, and they have a work group right now where they are working on a proposal to, I think it was the DOD. They're working on a proposal for the DOD where they're talking about cybersecurity or security and the blockchain in order to they're basically writing the rules and regulations, this work group is, to present to the government. That's, they'll hopefully take that information and just apply it into, into the government regulations. So if you're going to join GBA, I would suggest being part of those work groups so that people know who you are.
Correct. Yes, I would suggest that. So
yeah, Rasana.
I think I can see the questions. Okay, Rasana is asking.
Oh yeah.
Would like to know how the blockchain can be used in entertainment. Oh, entertainment is going to be the second largest behind supply chain. I'm talking to Mims right now, which is the rapper who created his own onboarding blockchain. It's going to be huge. Here's why. Blockchain takes out the middle person. As you know, it's only the ends that counts. In the record business, the agency controls all the record masters. But what blockchain does, it allows you to cut out all the middle people and go directly to consumers using a blockchain platform. I see that going forward because I'll give an example. There's a musician that I was talking with when I was talking to the rapper. He created a song 2 years ago. It got sampled, got put out there. He made $16 million for a record label. His first royalty check was $30,000. You'd ask the question, how can it only be 30? Well, all the middle people have to be paid. A&R, marketing, contract, lawyers, agency. By the time it gets down to him, 30,000. So I see people like that who's going to be embracing the blockchain. And in my presentation, I do cover the 3 companies that are doing that right now. I have a full deck that I go through that talks about these different areas. So music is going to be big. Artwork is going to be big. Fashion. I met a woman from London. She has a blockchain company that onboards what is called B and C type actors. Those are people who do commercials. She runs it out of London, and that's going very well. She was here in New York back in December. We talked about, how she was able to put it together, what she's doing. She's now going to do a new ICO for it, initial coin offering for it. But so yeah, she just got together the B's and C list, not the A list actors, just commercial actors, print actors, and she has a membership of about 1,500 in London and Europe, France. I'm going to see a lot more of those. Cannabis. Let's talk about entertainment. Cannabis industry is going to be big, especially in the African American community. And I probably heard in New York that Cynthia Nixon, who's running for New York City governor, is offering this to the city because of the Rockefeller laws that put most of our black and brown people behind jail because of the marijuana. Well, let's turn around and give them majority of the marijuana business when it becomes public in New York. She wants to put that proposal on the table. So I see that being big. But all the entertainment, artists, painters, you name it, it's going to be big. Entertainment's going to be big. So next question is, Uncloak.io is a black-based company making moves based in London. Yep, make all the connections you can. Absolutely. Anywhere where they are. I have contacts in Dublin. I have contacts in London, France. So that's good. Dr. Takesha. Okay, Chris, are you aware of any Detroit areas? No, I'm not familiar with anyone in Detroit, but I am always looking out for folks in the different cities. We're looking at it right now. Most of the blockchain activities are on the coasts, which is Silicon Valley and New York. But they're getting out. Miami, Florida is getting big into blockchain right now. They've had two what is called major conferences. Called Miami, that was in January. There was another one last month. The Cayman Islands, you probably now heard. Bermuda is getting into the crypto. Bermuda is going to have their big conference in December, I think it is. And by the way, it's the entire island. It's the entire chain of islands. Not just one person, not a company. The entire government of Bermuda have signed up to do blockchain and crypto. Jamaica started last August. Probably heard the story of Reggie Middleton. He went to Jamaican Government Bank and says, let's do blockchain. They said yes in June of 2017. They put up $5 million. It's now worth over $48 million. They were one of the first islands to sign on. Venezuela, as you know, is coming on board. It's going to be big. Next question. And an instructional designer, are there any training opportunities where I can use the skills? Yes. Instructional designers are mostly needed for developing what I call either the web page or the wallets. Unique designs. People in the graphic artists business, the blockchain space makes great sense to do website development, do graphics, portal entries. Designing portal entries would be great. Those I think where there's, by the way, a lot of graphic designers going to blockchain meetings to redo websites, huge business. You can make anywhere between 5 to 10 grand redoing websites. Not just in English, in other languages. Other languages. So don't just think it's English. You get to translate it in German, French. It's definitely South Korean, Japanese. So, okay, next, how do you find incubator events? Oh, they announce everywhere. New York City has almost 200 incubators all over the place. You can find an incubator because they'll say them. They say they are. They'll tell you, we are an incubator. And you just go to theirs. Share your contact with Chris. Yes, I will be sharing all my contacts with your team, whether it's Meetup, whether it's organizers. Yes, you will get those. Absolutely. I will keep sending those. But also, we can develop our own contact list. I think what in this blockchain era, the way the focus that I'm on is from an African-American community, we have a lot of assets can be blockchained. I talked about cannabis, even though I'm not a smoker of it or anything, but there's medical cannabis that's needed for the opioid addiction, for autism, glaucoma, all that. So cannabis business, fashion, music, art, we own those. Those are our assets. We should be looking at blockchaining those. I know it's a euphemism by saying it's a blockchain. I mean, the full ecosystem, payments, receipts, channels, the whole bit. We could blockchain those events. Those are ours. We own those. I mean, our music, we have so many opportunities. Don't let someone else come into our space and blockchain it for us. We can do it ourselves. And we own it. Like I said, an artist, Mims, which is doing it with the rappers, he's going out to small and medium rappers to join his network. And I'm going to be helping him to do that so that don't have to go to the big record labels like EMI or Sony and give up pretty much their firstborn. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do that anymore. Fashion, makeup, I see blockchain for that. Supply side within our own community, we could do that. Restaurant management. There's a company, let's see, Adam told me this, Adam Goldstein at Orablock. They created a blockchain software that allows small restaurants to pool their credit card payments such that they could take credit card payment below the $10 minimum to the $5 minimum at almost less than 0.5% transaction fee.
Which is huge savings for them.
Huge savings.
Because right now it's 3%. It's 1.5% to 3% plus 30 cents or to $1 per transaction. So it adds up. Correct. Yeah.
Right. So even a small restaurant that think that, we're not a blockchain company. Yes, you are. You're collecting fees, and your supply side can also be blockchain. So you may not think that you're blockchain, but if somebody walks in with a kiosk solution now here's where the designer comes in. You design the keypad, the iPad that matches the logo of the restaurant, the menu of the restaurant, the photographs. The person can order directly from the kiosk. Be huge. That's a huge business just for our community because it's our food. We know our food better than anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a blockchain to me. That's a blockchain supply chain waiting to be discovered.
Right.
Just waiting to be discovered.
Well, we don't want to keep people too late tonight. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were going to say something else?
No, I said if they have more, I'll try to be short with the answers. But the key is pick an area in which you think you have the best knowledge in, and then come up with a use case that makes sense for it, and then just throw the blockchain. Sheree and her group will determine whether you want to run it on Ethereum. We're not at that level yet, but we will. Whether we do it on IOTA, Ethereum, Neo, Cardano, EOS,
Right.
we'll discover where it runs on the blockchain. But first, you got to get it on the blockchain.
Right.
So,
that's one of the things that we want to do is create a platform agnostic consulting division as well, where we're able to look at a certain scenario and say, well, based on what we're seeing, this is probably the best solution, the best platform for that specific use case or solution.
And in a year, it won't matter. There are people working on what is called cross-chain.
The interoperability, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 final things before we wrap up, and I'll let Chris, of course, have the final word. Number 1 is that December conference in Bermuda. Again, we are going to have a line item for this type of travel, etc., especially if you have ties to that part of the world. So let's start pulling our resources together and doing the second thing that somebody mentioned, which is creating our own contact list. So we're going to have our own what's called CRM, or customer relationship management system, where when you go out and meet somebody, you're going to put them into our own internal database. And if that person becomes a client or they refer a client, you're going to get a piece of those revenues just for making that contact and bringing them into our ecosystem. So we're going to talk a lot more about that when we have our in-depth consulting and consortium call. But everything that Chris has been saying and everything that you're putting in the chat, the strategic team has already been talking about how we're going to set those things up. So with that, Chris, I want to give you any final words before we say goodnight to everybody.
Sure. Thank you all for embracing this industry. I'm so grateful that I'm able to find African Americans who want to do this. I mean, I don't have to tell you, I've knocked on so many doors and I've been turned away. But I'm so glad that you guys have embraced it. You now see where we are. You see where the future looks like. And the sooner we adopt this, the sooner we push this in our environment, the much greater we would be as a team within the African American. Again, we've lost our community to the Koreans, has all the barbershop supplies, you name it, other companies come in. Blockchain, we can own our destiny, literally own our destiny. And so keep it up, keep learning. The space is changing every month. There's always new stuff. There's new stuff coming online. Just embrace it and just accept it. It is here. It's not going anywhere. So keep that up. Keep that going.
Well, we want to thank you so much for taking your time out. We definitely want you to be a regular guest, maybe once a quarter or something like that, just, because you're keeping in touch so much with the industry. So we'll work on that. We'll work on, maybe having you be a regular at our calls. So
that would be great. That would be great. And also I can be a regular on specific topics that is more focused. Because again, we haven't touched the investment side.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. You and I will talk offline, and we'll figure out the best way to set this up so that it's meaningful for everybody. So
correct. Yes.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here, for sticking with us tonight for an hour, 40 minutes. Really appreciate it. And we hope that this was a blessing to all of you. Good night, and we will speak with you next week. Take care, everybody. Night.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great